Hi, I didn't see you there. I thought I was alone, but I'm not. So, hi, welcome to my channel. I thought, oh, I'm used to speaking to myself, but yes, my name's Kathy and I have questions. And clearly you have questions, that's why you're here. That's why you clicked on this, hoping to find some answers. I don't have answers, but I have questions. So we could always, kind of throw our questions together and see if we can come up with solutions. Let's see. Let's head down this road and see what we find. Today I actually want to speak about Alison Botha, a very inspirational, strong woman, a survivor, not a victim, a survivor. So let's get into it. Alison Botha was 27 years old, and this was in 1994, so it was long ago, long before cell phones and all these modern things. Okay, so beautiful girl, stunning girl, just living her best life, very independent, living on her own. Look at her, beautiful girl, innocent girl, not doing any harm to anybody, living in her own apartment, working her job. She finished school, she went to university, she did her thing, she's got a good job, she's got a good circle of friends, and yes, so until this day. So it was the 18th of December 1994, and Alison Botha, the 27-year-old beautiful Alison Botha, spent the day at the beach with her friends. Good day, just what young people do. This is what we do on a Sunday in South Africa. In summertime, we spend the day on the beach with friends and family. After the beach, they went to one of the friends' houses, had some dinner. After dinner, she took one of the friends home, dropped them off at their house, drove to her apartment in Port Elizabeth, and safe neighborhood, great place to stay. She had a good day, and she was now going to get ready for the next week of work. So she gets out of the car, opens the back seat, the back door, to get her laundry out that she had done that morning. But as she's doing that, out of nowhere comes this monster, France du Toit, okay? Sticks a knife to her throat and says, if you move, you die. Anyone's nightmare, not just any girl, woman, but any person's nightmare, because you don't know what you're up against. You don't know, is he alone, he can slice your throat at any moment. So she complies, okay? She's in shock. So he forces her into the passenger seat to climb over into the driver's seat, and he gets in the passenger seat. His friend, Chills Kruger, then gets in the back seat, and they tell her to drive. So she drives, okay? Frightening. This is frightening. You don't even have time to process this, to think. Your mind is racing, your adrenaline is up. I can't even imagine this scenario. It's insane. Now in South Africa, especially the coastal towns, it's these big cities, obviously huge cities, but smaller towns, but there's a lot of jungle. There's mountains, there's valleys, there's forests, there's a lot of remote and desolate places where monsters like this can literally take you to do whatever they want to, and nobody would hear you screaming. Now these animals decided it's a good idea. It kind of warms them up for what's to come. And on the drive that she's driving now out of town to one of these desolate places, a good idea to tell her exactly what they're going to do to her, the horrific things that they're going to do to her. Imagine. But in her mind, she's thinking, right, I cannot escape. She's thinking, can she jump out the car? No, they'll get her. There's nothing she can do. So she's thinking, I will be strong. I will endure, let them do what they want to do, and then when they finish, they're going to leave, and I can go. I can go to a hospital, get fixed up, I can go home, I can pick up my life and recover from this, okay? Because that's basically all she can do. So they stop at this remote place where there's nothing. Pull her out the car, rip off her clothes, and they start to essay her in every imaginable, gruesome way You can imagine the brutality was insane, okay? Because nobody who does SA on a person does it gently, because this is not what they want. It's the control, it's that thing of inflicting fear, pain, and trauma on another person that gets them off. So this is what they do. She endures the whole time just thinking, I'll make it through. They're going to finish and they're going to leave and I'm going to be okay and I'm going to go home. And she's thinking about her life and her friends and her mom and her family and her work. And she's 27. She's got her whole life. So she endures. Eventually, when they're done, the sidekick, Terence Kruger, tries to strangle her, but it doesn't work. What a wussy. People always think it's easy to strangle someone with that, but it's not. So she's now realized, okay, something's now not cool. But now, something I forgot to say. Frans du Toit gave her a fake name and said his name was Clinton or something. Okay. Anyway, remember that. So then Frans du Toit, the leader of the pack, says she has to die. Okay. As he says this, he pulls that big knife out again. This is where it just escalates to a whole new level of brutality, and I can't even find a word strong enough to describe these monsters. Okay. So now Frans du Toit has this knife out, so straight away she has to die. He starts slashing at her throat so violently that he almost decapitates her. He severs her windpipe and her trachea, okay? And she's struggling to breathe because her air pump is exposed, okay? But that's not enough. This is now another level of fun, another climax for these two guys. So they stab her in the stomach 36 times, okay? 36 times. By doing so, they completely disembowel her. Okay, now disembowelment is where all your insides, your organs are outside. Your intestines and your organs are now outside. Okay, it is outside your body. And she knows this, and the pain, she's in excruciating pain. At this point, she's thinking, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. There's no getting out of this, okay? I can barely breathe. And my insides are out because she knows what's happening. She's awake and conscious for this whole thing. Okay. So when they're done, they throw her clothes next to her out of the car and they leave. Good night. They had a good night. So they leave, leaving this poor 27-year-old Alison Botha just laying there in the dirt, covered in blood and who knows what. It's unthinkable. Okay. So Frans du Toit, just look at this picture. Look at these two guys, Frans du Toit and Terence Kruger, and look at this girl, this beautiful girl, and these monsters. This girl, innocent, who has just endured the highest level of brutality imaginable, and these two donkeys who I can't imagine. And she's clinging to the hope that she's going to survive and get out of this, okay? Strong girl. Now while Alison is laying there looking up at the stars, okay, realizing that she might not make it, thinking that she's possibly not going to make it, but she realizes as well that while they were killing her and thinking that she's going to die, they started referring to each other in their real names, Frans and Terence. Okay. So with the little bit of strength she has, she writes in the sand. She writes their names in the sand, and she writes, heartbreakingly, I love Mom. So that if she dies and she will be found, then they can catch these guys so that they can't do this to another person. Okay? Insane. So now, then she's now laying there thinking, what do I do? Okay? So she remembers that they threw her clothes out. So she reaches out for the clothes. She finds her shirt. With her shirt, she puts all her organs back into the cavity in her stomach, okay, because without it, she can't go anywhere. So she puts it back in her stomach. I can't imagine this, okay. So with that back in her stomach, she tries to now get up on her knees so that she can hold it in with the shirt and try to walk to the road. But as she gets on her knees, it's pitch black and she can't see. And she's thinking, what's wrong? Why can't I see suddenly? So she thinks there's something on her eyes and she feels for her eyes. But as she does this, there's no head. She does not feel her head. She feels her throat. Okay. So her head, she was, like I said, almost decapitated. So her head was hanging on the back, on her back. So this girl, holding her intestines in, reaches back, picks up her head so that she can see where she's going. So now, my God, imagine, you can't imagine it, you cannot. But she realized that at some point she stopped feeling pain. Okay, I'm sure it's shock, trauma, and adrenaline, because she wasn't feeling pain. I mean, you'd think, okay, lifting your head up, this is painful. She didn't feel a thing, okay? But she had the survival instinct that I have to make it. I have to get out of here. I have to catch these guys. I want to live. I want to live, okay? So on her knees, holding her head and holding her intestines, she crawls on her knees to where the road is. Okay, hours. She gets to the road. She makes it to the road. Can you believe it? Oh my God. So as she finally makes it to the road, she just collapses. Now you can imagine the sight of this girl laying there, almost decapitated, her intestines all over, blood and mud and sand, and it's a horrible, horrible sight. You can just imagine. So she sees headlights coming. Oh wow, somebody's going to... She's got this will to survive, okay, with these catastrophic injuries, okay. She's fighting to survive, this girl. The first car comes past, and you know what? They just drive right past. They just drive right past her, okay. So anyway, she actually said later in interviews that she understood why they drove past, because it must have been a horrible sight seeing her there. I don't understand it. I don't, okay? Because I don't care. Look, in South Africa, there's a lot of these things that happen when people pack things in the road or somebody pretends to be injured so that you'll stop. But most people in South Africa are armed, okay? And even if you're not armed, if you see, you can see this girl's intestines are hanging outside. Clearly she is not faking it. Something's wrong. She needs help. Stop, okay? I can't forgive that, and if that person is still around, may that haunt you for the rest of your life, okay? Because maybe I just watched too many crime series and I know these things that happen. She needed help. You should have stopped. You should have stopped, okay? Anyway, so the next car comes past, drives just past her, slams on brakes, and realizes, hey, something's wrong here. A car full of students. So they jump out. Tian Illard, a veterinary student, gets to her first and sees, oh my God, this girl is dying, okay? So he tells the others, now there's no cell phones, so he tells them, drive off, go get an ambulance, go find a phone, call first responders, okay? And he stays with her, and by squeezing her hand and keeping her awake, because he knows if she falls asleep, she'll go unconscious and she will never wake up. Because it's very important to keep someone awake in that situation. So he just keeps speaking to her, and she knew. She says when she saw his face, and she just knew, this is help. This is someone who cares. Somebody's going to take care of me now. It's unthinkable. But he keeps her awake by asking her questions and telling her to squeeze his hand, yes and no, and amazing. The ambulance, an hour and a half. 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, this is South Africa. Little side note about South Africa. Now, in America, you've got 911. You dial 911 straight away. They want to know, what is your emergency? Okay, do you need fire? Do you need police? Do you need ambulance? What do you need? Okay. In the UK, 999, same thing. In Dubai, 999. Every country. Okay, that's simple. South Africa, you dial this number, 10111. Okay. Then someone answers. Well, first it's going to ring for hours, and it's going to time out, and it's going to time out. And then eventually somebody's going to answer, hello. And then when you start speaking, please hold, before you can say anything. Then they're going to cut you off. They're going to play music in your ears, cut you off 3-4 times. Eventually, when you speak to them, hello, and you say, I need an ambulance, I'm dying, okay? I will transfer you. Then they transfer you, I don't have to tell you, okay? You don't phone emergency in South Africa, you deal with it yourself. So, hour and a half, ambulance arrives, finally. So, the medical staff clearly shocked that Alison is still alive, and obviously it was years and years and many hours of reconstructive surgery that this girl had to undergo to just get everything back in place, because everything was out of place, and she would have lifelong consequences of this, okay? But she was able, because while they had stabbed her, this is what I said, remember he gave her a false name, Clinton. While this France and Tins thought that she was dying, they started referring to each other in their real names. Okay, so she knew this, so she could tell the police, this is what they look like, these are their names, and they were quickly apprehended. Okay. So the court case comes, okay. Alison's still in hospital, obviously, because they were caught very fast. So the doctors are saying to her, you cannot go to court. And I'm going to court. I am taking these guys down. They're getting locked up. They're not doing this to any other girl. How strong. Such a woman. Oh my gosh. So she goes to court. In court, she takes the stand and she tells the jury everything that they had done to her, all these gruesome things. Okay, and the jury could see. I mean, these guys are monsters. They obviously claim to have demons telling him. They always try that. Okay, we all have demons, but hey, we don't listen to. Which voice are you listening to? Okay, so yeah, the jury saw right through them, and they were both sentenced to life in prison. And now you think, great, end of the story. Hell no, this is South Africa. This is South Africa. Get ready. Brace yourself for this, okay? So remember, this is 1995. The incident happened in December 1994. So in 95, these guys both got life sentence, okay? And this poor girl, Alison, it takes years of resilience and strength to get through this, for not just the physical trauma that she had to overcome, the rehabilitation, but the PTSD, the mental trauma that she had to undergo, okay? But anyway, thinking these guys are in jail for you. So in February, listen to this, February 2022, the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Ronald Lamola, sends recommendations to the National Council of Correctional Services, Judge Brian Mashile, and he recommends that these two guys get released on parole. And they do. They do. Okay, they release them. For 2 years, they're out there, causing havoc. Okay? But then in February 2024, this is last year, the newly sworn in Minister of Correctional Services, Peter Groenewald, sees this and he's like, what the? Why are these guys out? These guys cannot be out. These guys need to be in jail. Okay, so he revokes their parole, they rearrest them, put them back in jail. Now, let me explain to you the twisted side of this, okay? The excuse that the Correctional Services Legal Department provided for suggesting that they revoke was that Alison, the one they had brutally sexually assaulted and stabbed, half decapitated, you know the story. She declined to meet with her attackers in the Victim Offenders Dialogue Program. There's a program like that. So basically, she said, I don't want to play with them. I don't want to go visit them. And because she declined, they they got released. So the state is expecting you, as a victim, this person who endured all of this, to go to the victim attacker dialogue program and baby these guys, sit and chit chat with them to make them better people, to understand why they'd. What? Good for you, Alison. You don't need to speak to them. You don't ever need to speak to them. You don't need to pee on them if they're on fire, okay? Because these are animals. This program, I don't know if it still exists today in any country, but make it go away. Make it go away, because this, no. Why would you want to put the victim through sitting, chatting with these, what? Anyway, but I was just shocked at that. I was totally shocked. But yeah, then they got life, so they're still in prison and they will never come out. I'm all for forgiveness, okay? I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus and heaven and hell and all the good stuff, okay? I believe in that. I firmly believe in forgiveness. But just because you forgive someone does not mean you forget about it. You cannot forget about it. How can she possibly ever forget about it? She's more aware and alert now than ever, okay? Because maybe they could change. Maybe they meant to do good stuff. Maybe God's working on them. But they must do the good stuff from prison. Okay, they can't get let out. No. And they've never shown signs of remorse in any way. So, no, keep them in prison. Let them do their good work in prison. But now, Alison, oh my gosh, what a woman, what a queen, what a hero. Yes, so Alison has spent her life, okay, she's got 2 children, she's married, she spent her life becoming a huge advocate for victims, okay? She's turning victims into survivors, okay? And this is something I wish everybody could understand. If you're living and breathing and talking after something like this, you're not a victim, you're a survivor, okay? This girl is an absolute hero. The strength and courage that she showed is on another level. I'd like to think that, I wish I could say that if something like that happened to me, I would show the same courage and resilience that she did. But I doubt it. That's I won't say once in a lifetime, because there's Mary Vincent who was the same, and she was only 15. But yes, so she went on she wrote a book. Okay. Now just, oh my gosh, this lady, you queen. I salute you. Alison wrote a book, and the name of the book is so profound. I Have Life. I have life. We don't always realize that we have life. You have life. You've been given life. What are you doing with your life? You know what I mean? She's doing everything she can to make everybody else's life better. After the horrible things she had to endure. She also, there's a documentary, I think it's on Amazon. I suggest everybody goes and watches it, about her story, because her story is 1 in a million, okay, that she survived, and the strength and courage she showed. It's amazing. But just the cover of her book, I Have Life, says so much. Okay, so I would strongly suggest you go and watch that, and big up, Alison. I cannot believe you did what you did, okay, and you survived that. I respect you. I respect you more than I respect most people that I have ever met in my life. So, yes, so that is it. That's my story for today. A story of trauma and hope and a good ending. I've decided when I do these things, crime stories, I will not be doing the crime with bad endings. There's enough of those. Most crime ending a bad ending. I will do the good endings where there's a good and positive outcome, because that's what we need to see, that when you think it's the end, it might not be the end. It might be the beginning of something big for you. So yes, so that's what I'll be focusing on. The hope, the courage of those who made it through. So yes, if you stuck around till the end of the movie, it's like a movie, hey? Till the end of my little talk, then please like and subscribe, okay? If not, doesn't matter, you can just vibe and go. If you want to vibe and go. But whenever you don't have anything to do, please pop in and come see what I've got going, what I feel like talking about. I don't always know what I feel like talking about, but I research things that inspire me as a person. Sometimes just I have questions about stupid idiots, and that's also on there. Okay, so yes, have a good day. See you later.